Over the last couple of years, a lot of VR games have been released. And for the longest time, the question has always been asked, what makes a game immersive? Is it the graphics? Is it the sound design or gameplay? All of these questions have been asked and pondered, and no game can take advantage of that more than VR games, especially the VR game I'm going to be talking about today, SUPERHOT VR. Welcome everyone. In today's video we are going to be talking about the story and the lore of SUPERHOT VR and how it is one of the most interesting and immersive games ever written. I am going to be talking about the game itself, the story, my interpretation of the story as well as the lore, and also about the recent controversies surrounding the story of SUPERHOT VR. So please get comfy and stick around to find out the story of SUPERHOT VR. SUPERHOT VR was released on the 5th of December 2016 and was released between two other SUPERHOT games, these being the original SUPERHOT, which was released on the 25th of February 2016, and after the VR version, SUPERHOT Mind Control Delete was released on the 16th of July 2020. If you somehow haven't heard of SUPERHOT before, SUPERHOT is an FPS where time only moves when you move. There are no ammo boxes, no health pickups, just yourself and any weapon you can grab. No reloading of any kind, and everything, including you, is finished in just one hit. It is such a simple game mechanic, yet it works so well. It's a perfect blend of Hollywood action with all the bullets flying and strategic gameplay with the time mechanics and the fragility of everything. The art style is super cool as well. Everything is made of this glass polygon material. Even the items you grab have that distinct glossy glass look. It works perfectly well with the gameplay, although this game mechanic in a super realistic shooter or hack-and-slash game would be pretty cool. But with the description out of the way, let's get into the actual gameplay and lore of SUPERHOT VR. Oh, also this game was captured on Quest 3 using virtual desktop and playing on Steam VR. The game starts immediately with a logo saying PIOS, Operating Systems of the Future, and then cuts to several monitors displaying static before you are immediately starting the first mission of the game, where the mechanics of time moves when you move is introduced, and for a bit you're just playing the game with nothing seems out of the ordinary.
Super hot. Super hot.
I have to make fists. This intro for me is perfect. There's no menu, no tutorial, no guides, you are just in the game playing. The sense of awe and amazement I felt when I first played this game cannot be understated, especially when you grab the gun and the whole scene loads in. This is one of the many tactics that the game uses in order to make the player feel as immersed as possible. But what was that operating system? Who are we? Well, we will just have to wait and see. That didn't work. Throughout the first few missions, you get plenty of examples and opportunities to use the time function to the fullest. One level, you're just in a hallway and you have to dodge the bullets until you can grab the gun off the bad guy. At one point, you're in a cage fight, then you're in a dojo throwing ninja stars, and then you're ambushed at an airport. So many interesting levels and set designs and ways to beat them, it just feels like the perfect introduction. Also, throughout these levels, you see these black pyramids appearing and you need to grab them or destroy them in order to progress to the next level, but we'll find out what those are a bit later.
Super hot. Super hot.
After completing the last section of the airport mission, this happens. Something pings off your face and you're all of a sudden in a small room surrounded by monitors and other bits and bobs and technology, and it is soon established that this is a VR setup complete with sensors and what appears to be the headset hanging from the ceiling. Also the VR gloves on the player's hands kind of give it away. After looking around, you notice a blue floppy disk on the desk near the monitors that simply says SUPERHOT Disk B. After grabbing it and being instructed to insert it into the computer, the disk is loaded and you grab the headset to enter into the next level. Okay, so real quick, I love this intro. It's so simple and it is exactly how you'd boot up SUPERHOT or any other VR game. Grabbing the disc and then putting on the headset to load into the next level is such an effective way to up the immersion, as it's almost like Inception. You are a player playing SUPERHOT, but your character in SUPERHOT is also loading into SUPERHOT. Truly some mind fuckery is afoot. This also brings up more questions like, who are we? What's the significance of SUPERHOT in this world? And why are we a slob? I mean, look at the state of this room. But all of these questions will have to wait as we load into the next few levels. After another fade to white, we load into another level. This time, a break-in.
Super hot.
After completing that level, we are then transported into a town where there are way more enemies and a much wider variety of weapons.
Super hot.
From that town, we then have to fight our way through this compound after punching a dude out of a helicopter. After successfully clearing out the area, the helicopter decides to go walkies and crash into us. After that, we are now back into the apartment again, where it is noticeably later outside, and we've smashed one of our monitors, so that's going to be a bit expensive.
down when I was done with it, and not feel, because I just didn't do all of the BS, you know, like all the crafting and blah 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 that you can just sink hours and hours and hours into. I don't want to do it. It's not fun.
We then find another disc with Superhot Disk C written on it, and we do the same thing we previously did. We slot it into the computer, put the headset on, and we load back into the game.
In those types of games, because all the while you're doing that, you're like, I could have a better gun. I could have better armor if I would just take.
Fucking prick. From here, it is more or less the same, although it seems like the dynamic has changed. We've gone from taking the fight to them, to almost being hunted. We're in the streets, we're in apartment buildings, and trying to escape with our car, but we just keep on getting tracked down, perhaps because of our previous actions.
Super hot.
Fucking hell, he's cakes the fuck up. Oh, fuck. Huh?
Super hot. Super hot.
Surprise, motherfucker! Fuck. I suck at throwing ninja stars. Don't aim at my cock. After ruining a dinner party, we are once again in the apartment, but something is different this time. We see on the monitors the following messages. You are dedicated, you have potential, and we will teach you. We'll come back to this segment as this is where some of the controversy comes in, but I'll cover that near the end. The monitor then instructs us to take the disc, to reach inside. A floppy disk then starts appearing from the monitor. It's made of the same material that the walls are made out of in the levels. We then get the message, bodies are disposable, mind is software. We then insert the disc and re-enter the game. This is so good. Not only is someone contacting us and noticing our actions, but we are also seemingly being recruited by them. Also, what's the deal with the floppy disk coming out the screen? Clearly, something isn't quite right. We load back in and are immediately met with more guidance. Pressing the trigger on both controllers allows us to focus our energy and burst the enemy's head. This will become vital later. Also, I love how the achievements are like these sticky notes and they fall from midair. Very cool. We are then given more situations to use this ability on other enemies, dispatching them effortlessly and becoming more accustomed to this new ability. As the levels continue, the dynamic seems to change again. We are now on the hunt.
Super.
Always miss that shot. Alright. Fuck you. You just killed your friend.
Super hot.
Oh, there's still another one. Oh yeah.
Super hot. Super.
Oh, right in the cock.
After sabotaging the plane, we then arrive back into our apartment. But it is now completely dark outside. How long have we been playing for? We then receive another message, which I will just let play out because it is so cool.
Prove your worth. Reach the pyramid. Obey.
A disc then appears in our hand, seemingly being the same colour and material as our character's hands and the other interactables in the levels. At this point, we know what to do. We insert the disc and jump back in. But who are these people? How are they seemingly able to warp reality? And more importantly, what is the significance of this pyramid? After this, quite frankly, hilarious level,
Super hot.
Suboptimal.
Super hot.
we continue the hunt until we once again arrive in the apartment again. Now, I'll come back to this segment because it ties back in with the controversy. We arrive back in our apartment. It's still dark outside and we receive another message from the monitors.
Destroy the pyramid. You will be rewarded. Take the disc.
We do as we're told, and we take the disc, this time being red. The same material as the enemies. At this point, we do not need the headset, we simply slot the disc into our head and load into the final mission. This mission is super action-packed. We are in the main base of the enemy and we fight off hordes of them and slowly make our way to the final pyramid. Computers and wires are everywhere, all hooked up to this strange black object. We then reach the pyramid and use our previous abilities to destroy it. The words, "You are now free," are displayed.
You did well. Onset.
The game closes with this final shot of the pyramid. You grab it, and then you're in a dark room where Superhot is continuously said.
Super hot. Super hot. Super hot.
You then are back in your apartment with the text, "One of us," and "You are free" on the monitors, and a few endgame discs simply lying on the desk. So, what in the HE double fuck just happened? Well, I'm going to get into that, but before I do, I need to go back to the previous controversy I mentioned earlier, but just as a pre-warning, some sensitive topics might be covered, so viewer discretion is advised. Now, if you've played this game before, you're probably watching this and thinking that I missed out two key scenes. Sorry. One, where you have to prove your worth by shooting yourself, and another where you must leap off a ledge, presumably to your death. These scenes showed up earlier when I mentioned the text on the monitors saying, like, "Prove your worth" and "Your body's disposable," that sort of thing. This change was announced and implemented in 2021. At first, a skip disturbing scenes toggle was added for those who found the particular scenes distressing. But in July of 2021, a new patch note was released, which I'm just going to read verbatim. Quote, "Skip disturbing scenes toggle was added in a previous update. Considering sensitive time we're living in, we can do better than that. You deserve better. All scenes alluding to self-harm are now completely removed from the game. These scenes have no place in Superhot virtual reality. We regret it took us so long. We're committed to shipping this update to all VR platforms. Superhot team." End quote. After this update, the game was review bombed on all platforms. Superhot used to have a overwhelmingly positive review on Steam and 5 stars pretty much across the board, but reportedly the game went all the way to overwhelmingly negative on Steam and on all other platforms dipped well below the 3-star mark. Now, I'm not going to harp on this point because it's already been done to death, but here's my hot take. You get it? Superhot. I think censorship is bad. I know, fucking huge hot take from me. But I think it's especially bad on a game that you've paid for with an update you have no choice but to accept. Like, you can't use any of the previous versions of the game. Like, you can't install those. I think sensitive topics like this can and should be displayed as long as they are done in a respectful way and they benefit the story. I think it's super important for us as humans to learn these lessons and be aware of these troubles. Now, don't get me wrong, if it was purely just used for shock value, then I'd understand the change. But these two scenes, in a way, were a vital part of the story. Like everything tied in. You're showing your commitment to this organization. I don't think in any way did it dramatize and promote self-harm or suicide. Like, not in the slightest. Like, you already had the toggle in the game. Why not, as the game launches, decide if you want that toggle or not? I don't get it, but let's move on. So with all that out of the way, what is my interpretation of the story? Well, I think the story of Superhot revolves around a war of attrition in the web, so to speak, very similar to Cyberpunk, where people are able to jack into the web, so to speak. And I think we were just a regular person until this agency noticed what we were doing. Whether good or bad, they recruited us to do their bidding, as they noticed what we were doing and what we were capable of. Now, just to lay out some groundwork, I think for the most part, before the helicopter crash, everything takes place in our apartment, as the smashed monitor is basically a reference point. Even after you complete the game, the monitor still remains smashed, like it doesn't become fixed. Throughout the game, the words "Superhot" and "Prove Your Worth" body's disposable, mind is programming are repeatedly mentioned, and I think this is a form of brainwashing or indoctrinating our character. See, after the dinner party crash, this is when the messages start to appear on the monitor, and when the disc comes out of the monitor. Now, what I think is, even though it seems we are at home, I believe that this is a form of inception and a program the agency has deployed to make us think we are in our apartment. But in actuality, we still have the headset on. Much like in real life when we play a game, the headset is still on. It's always on. To make things easy to follow along, here are the levels of Superhot, the levels of Inception, so to speak. You have the actual apartment when you don't have the headset on of the character, which I will refer to as G, or the ground plane. Then, when you have the headset on, i.e. right at the beginning of the game, you'll be, i.e. right in the beginning of the game, I will name this the first plane. And then finally, when we start getting messages, and we think we're in the apartment, and then when we pop the headset on and we load back in, that's going to be known as the second plane. So you've got ground plane, which is the apartment, first plane, which is before the helicopter crash, and then from then on, you're on the first plane. And then when the agency starts interfering and you put on the headset, that's all the second plane, because it's you playing a game, essentially. But the reason I think this is, think about it, if they have the power to hack our monitors and communicate with us, who's to say they can't hijack our VR software? And also, I mainly think this because, well, the disc comes out of the monitor, that's just not possible. But from when the agency interferes, the game almost transitions from just fun, killing bad guys, all big helicopter crash, shooting everywhere, Hollywood action movie, to all of a sudden you're hunting them and then you're being hunted. I think that kind of tonal shift is also what makes me think this. And also all the messages being displayed. When the messages are being displayed, it seems like we are still in the game, and after inserting the disc, this is where we get our hand beaming abilities. Now, after that segment, after the party crash segment, we think we return to our apartment, which is the G plane, but in actuality, I think the headset is still on, and we're in the first plane, and more messages start appearing. Messages like, reach the pyramid and obey, prove your worth, your body's disposable. All of these point towards indoctrination. A card appears in our hand, and we don't even question it, we just insert the disc and pop on the headset again, entering the second plane, and we continue to fight this black and red war. Then there is the final section. After destroying everything, we are told, this is it. If you destroy the pyramid, you will be rewarded. And all of a sudden, the roles are reversed. We are taking a disc out of the computer and inserting it into our heads. Once again, we do not need the headset, as we are on the first plane and entering into the second plane to destroy the pyramid. Once it's destroyed, we then return to the apartment, still on the first plane, and interact with that black pyramid that knocks on the door. Once we complete the task, it says, you are free, and I take this quite literally. Doing this task for the agency has granted us our freedom, and we are back on the ground plane. Okay, so to summarize everything, here's what I think is happening in the story of Superhot VR. We are just some ordinary guy. We have an apartment, we have a VR setup. It's nothing much, but it's our home. We play this goofy game, and an agency notices our performance. After the helicopter crash, they use their hacking skills and they hijack our VR system and make us believe that we are in control, but we are not. They have trapped us in the first plane. But of course, we cannot distinguish anything from reality, and coming out of the game, we still think we're on the ground plane. The agency brainwashes us, indoctrinates us over a span of days. They force our hand. They make us prove our worth by disposing of our temporary body. The mind is software. That is all they are concerned with. They use the familiar shapes of the red men and the black objects to have us complete their war of attrition. The enemy is in red, our hands are black, and time only moves when we move, just like the game we were playing previously. It seems familiar to us. It allows us to do the job easier. They grant us the ability to use our hand beams so that we can use it in the future. We prove our worth and are then sent to destroy the pyramid. Perhaps the pyramid is a central source of the opposition's intelligence or operating system. Who they are and what they stand for is hard to say, but we don't care. We must destroy it. It's us against them. Once we destroy the pyramid, we are then rewarded, not with power or recognition, but the simple power of freedom. We had been controlled, brainwashed. We were a puppet for the agency and we had no idea. Everything we saw was fictional. We didn't prove anything. We were simply just a pawn to carry out the agency's bidding. And once we did what they wanted, we were no longer needed and were cut loose, never knowing who the agency were or what our involvement has done for our future. After everything's said and done, the headsets removed and we're still in our apartment, never realising that the agency was simply using us and pulling on our strings. And that is my interpretation of the story. Now, this is strictly my opinion. You're allowed to agree or disagree. I don't really care. But to me, it makes sense. Like, why is the agency such a little thing at the beginning, but then as we play it more and more, they have full faith and trust in us? Like, it just doesn't seem right to me. It seems like we were hand-picked and then brainwashed and developed into almost a sleeper agent, and once we had done what they wanted, they didn't need us anymore. Despite the censorship, Superhot is still an incredible game, and it is the main game that I let people play if they're new to VR. I would highly recommend it, but of course, if you don't want to due to the censorship, or you heavily disagree with it, then that is completely understandable. I want to give everyone, you, yes you, if you made it this far into the video and watched till the end, please let me know if you enjoyed this longer format kind of style of video. I'd be more than happy to make more. And any feedback, positive or negative, please let me know, because of course I do want to improve my content, and I think that will do it from me for now. So thank you very much for watching. Check out my other videos in the description. There's a playlist down there which has everything I've ever made. Join the Discord as well. I've made a new Discord because, you know, I'm an original YouTuber. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, leave all those interactions, and I will hopefully see you in the future. Have a damn good day.